All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back at my favorite dirt track in the entire world. This right here is the Skagit Speedway, and this weekend we're racing for $126,000. Feels so good to be back up here with my friends in the Pacific Northwest, the Skagit Speedway in Burlington, Washington. We're just about 30 minutes from the country of Canada. We're just about ready to go for this weekend's Skagit Nationals, Thursday, Friday, Saturday with the High Limit Sprint Car Series. Looks like we almost got 44 10s in the pit area. Tonight's $10,000 to win. Friday shows $20,000 to win. That's the 2 prelims. And then Saturday's finale is $126,000 to win. Insane what they are doing here at the Skagit Speedway. Talk about like growing our sport and, you know, just creating so much excitement in the Pacific Northwest, an area that could really use it, you know, in dirt racing and sprint cars specifically. Well, here's an up close look at turn 2. I wanted to walk down here because you can tell, like, even from a distance, the racetrack's pretty wet, and a lot of that is reflection from the weather. You know, 60s, 70s, it rained this morning. It's just super cool. The sun hasn't been out all day. So I'd say the track's gonna be fast to start out, and it might hang out all night. It's just our job as drivers to be paying attention to that, and then, you know, also make the correct adjustments and have our race cars, you know, where they need to be, so everything, you know, is working together and we're keeping our car up front. So in just a little bit, we'll be rolling into the beginning of the night and engine heat, hot laps, and qualifying to start things off. So we got 39 total cars here to open up the weekend. Carly, she was on draw duty tonight, and I guess she's fired. Second to last car out, so 38th car out. They were doing 2 at a time, and we ended up 21st quick. So almost dead smack there in the middle. The racetrack, I mean, I don't really want to say it fell off. I mean, there was guys at the end that laid down a good time. Hard to say if it was harder to go earlier or later, but at the end of the day, we were just a few tenths off where we needed to be. And a lot of it, like, it's so funny how you go from Dirt Cup. We were so good here at Dirt Cup. This is a different car. You know, I mean, all of our cars are supposed to be like sister cars, right? They're all twin cars. But, you know, we started with, you know, our baseline that was really good here in June, and I felt like immediately, not necessarily like I wasn't as good, I just had a lot of wheel spin, and with whatever the racetrack felt like, we needed to make some changes. So we tried to tighten up some to qualify, and I felt like we were just a little bit snug and not making as much speed as we could have, and that's probably the difference in us being an 11.4 and maybe an 11.3, 11.2, and, you know, jumping up closer to the top 10. So Skagit has an interesting format for this race. So they're doing an invert. I think we're going to be on the front row of a heat race. We got to finish in the top 5 here. The better we run, the more points we get. So definitely would like to keep dissecting our car and figure out, you know, why I don't feel as in the racetrack as I need to be. Here you got to be stuck, and you got to be left, and you got to be driving. And I just feel like we kind of need some more of that in our setup right now, and get me a little bit more comfortable. Anyway, heat race will be up next here in a little bit, but we're going to go to work and make some changes after our qualifying run. just spending a minute watching all the footage from the heat races. Heat race onboard and qualifying onboard. That's one of the nice things about having cameras on the car. I feel like you can learn a lot, and it doesn't always help you to learn. I mean, you can learn after the fact, but it's nice to learn a little bit in the moment and see what the car's doing. First to second there in that heat race. Initial start, I got the jump, and then the second time I didn't get the jump, and just could have taken off better. The outside car just kind of nailed it, and from there, 10 laps, just ran in second. Surface is definitely, you know, everyone's very similar in pace, and it's a little difficult to pass. So for us, I feel like we just got to keep working on our balance. It's frustrating to know that we had something really good last time we were here, and again, not that we're not good now, but like everything just doesn't feel the same, and the racetrack's different, and we're just trying to adapt and figure out what direction to go. So we're in the A main event. That's nice. Obviously, with our qualifying and the invert, that helped a lot. So we're not happy about necessarily where we are in points, but all that matters now is this upcoming feature, and the farther we can advance forward, the farther, you know, we're going to move up in points, and it's only going to help the rest of our weekend. So we're really diving in right now just to see what we can do to improve with the 18T. So just in the back here, taking a second before this 30-lap feature. So they did an 8-car invert for the top 8 in points that transferred through. I think we were 13th, so it looks like we're going to be rolling off from 13th. Again, this is a points-based format throughout the weekend, so everything we do today affects Saturday. Everything that happens tomorrow also affects Saturday. Really tried to make some changes, and again, as much as, you know, it's easy to be like, man, we feel different and we're unsure, just tried to go back to the notebook, really looking at lap times, where the racing surface is at, which the track still has pretty good grip, and some guys are still making a ton of speed. I hear the horn now, so I gotta go, but I'm also watching a lot of guys that just look really snug, look really tight, and it seems like guys are trying to find grip by getting tight, but almost, again, remember, your car has to roll free, you have to make speed, so we're trying to consider all that as we dump, you know, 30 gallons of fuel in. So anyway, all factors considered, just trying to work together well as a team, get our race car where we want it, and go give it everything we got. So we roll off 13th here, and it's my job now to get behind the wheel and just go for it. stickers are blowing off the thing. Now, started 13th there, finished 7th, so we'll take that. I think we could have maybe had a top 5. That's the only part that would have been nice, probably been the cherry on top. But for how the race played out, for us to move forward, and honestly got the car feeling better than I had all night long. And I don't necessarily think the racetrack was even conducive to really good passing. It was just such a fast pace everywhere. I just had to take too long to get by the cars that I did get by. Need to find a way to, you know, just, I don't know, I was trying to drive around them, and I needed to just get it mixed up a little bit, almost like a blender. Like if you get everyone where they're unsettled, and then you can get a couple at a time, where I just had to go one by one by one, and I just kind of got held up as I went. So we'll take a 7th place. Feels good to be in the top 10. Not exactly, you always want better, right? We always want better, but we'll take a solid top 10 from 13th. And it wasn't like we started up front and faded back. We started 13th, and I feel like every car we passed, we legitimately passed, minus I think the one that spun out. So we'll take that as, you know, 5 or 6 cars going forward, and some good improvements with the 18T, which is we wanted to get earlier. So we just got our race car, all of our equipment in the trailer. We will take a 13th to 7th run tonight at the Skagit Speedway. That was a lot of fun. We made good speed, made some good passes, passed some good cars, and legitimately moved forward 5 spots. Got one freebie when Jason Sowald spun out kind of towards the end, but otherwise, like, legitimately just picked off car by car by car. With how fast the racing surface was, you know, it was slick and it was dusty, but it still had really good pace. Just made it a little more difficult for me to, like, you know, I never got multiple cars at once. It kind of just, like I said, took a little bit of grinding lap after lap after lap to move forward. And maybe if there was a way I could have got guys a little bit quicker, then, you know, if you could have got bigger, I don't know if maybe it would have been a restart or just like a chance when guys got racing. If you can get 2 or 3 in one lap, like, then you can make some real progress. But like I said, for myself, when it would take me, you know, 4 or 5 laps past a car, 4 or 5 laps past a car, it's just hard to make, you know, that run all the way towards the top 5 or give yourself a chance at the podium, which I think our car was capable of running a little bit better than we did. We just started farther back. And as usual, Skagit Speedway, they're already preparing for the rest of the weekend. So you don't see what the track looked like because they're prepping it, but yeah, just crazy, like crazy how the track was so similar in color, bottom to top. There was still quite a bit of grip, and it was just starting to get slick at the very end of the feature in a few spots where the color was changing. Definitely could read that as a driver, but like if your car was good, for whatever reason, like this material, like as they've added material or kept mixing it in with like what's been Skagit for years and what they've been adding, like it's interesting. Like tonight, again, it just had like tons of grip, even though it wasn't like wet and throwing that material where you're pulling a bunch of tear-offs. Just an interesting concept. Like the track was hard, but you could still run it, and it was, you know, dusty. And again, it's almost like we needed another 100 laps on the track for it to widen out and like keep getting to what would be, I guess, normal Skagit. So anyway, again, happy with our run. I felt like we made some good adjustments, and I don't even think we were, you know, a 10 out of 10 race car, but we still like made good enough progress that we could have been farther up. We just got to keep working on putting our whole night together, make a little more speed in qualifying, which is always the normal, right? But gain some more points with this format and start just a little farther up front. If you could even get that invert in the A-main event, start on those first few rows, man, I feel like here at Skagit, you know, you put us up front with how the 18T is in clean air, we could really make some good noise. Give ourselves a chance to be in victory lane. So we got something to work for tomorrow, and again, just really proud of our team, all of our great partners, my family, and our operation. It hasn't necessarily been an easy few weeks, but to come out here with almost 40 cars, you know, top 10 finish, move forward, and again, something just to build off of the rest of the weekend at Skagit, one of my favorite places. Definitely feels good. Whenever you're in a little bit of a rut, things aren't going how you want, you got to go back to one of your favorite racetracks. Usually things turn around. So the weekend's just getting started. We got work to do with the car. These guys are gonna be working on the track. Great to see all you Pacific Northwest fans. Just super thankful, and we're always, you know, we love this area because we always feel so loved, and just very lucky and blessed to get to do what we do on all the good and bad nights, and appreciate you guys, you know, being along for the journey. So 2025 is not over yet. We're still working harder than ever to make it the year that it is, and keep racing and keep doing what we love. We'll see you guys in the next video. Deuces.